Porzingis, you got Holiday, you got Derek White, you got literally, I would say what? 5 guys can get you 20 points in a game?
I know people will say it's, only one guy. I don't believe that, Coach. That, one guy, those days are over, in my opinion. Like, a Bill Russell, a Wilt Chamberlain.
Betting above the rim, only on SportsGrid.
You're going a little deep bomb hunting here. We don't care that we have the one heavy favorite with Rory, a couple other guys like Fleetwood and Tagala, etc. You're going to go a little deeper down the board.
This course, I think, is going to play a little bit more to the wedges. They have, what they did is they've renovated it to basically block off some of the bombing alleys for these guys. They've narrowed the fairways.
Pharrell Coast to Coast, only on SportsGrid.
Garrett Cole's getting ready to come back, too. I guess this... Look, they've played great without him, but you're not going to say to Garrett Cole, look, don't come back. I mean, it's a ridiculous conversation to have.
They're not going to take any unnecessary chances. And look, they're at the point where they have a lead. They certainly are going to make the playoffs, I would say, barring some sort of complete collapse. And that's all it takes.
Newswire, only on SportsGrid.
8 playoff games at home for Boston in Beantown. They are 6-2 straight up.
The wild card, I would say, in this game is not necessarily, well, what are we going to get out of Luka Doncic, Kyrie Irving, Brown, and certainly Tatum. It is Kristaps Porzingis to me, because we're not getting back a player that's like, hey, rotational guy. Like, remember when Derek Lively went down with the injury? He was playing well, but a young player, like a piece.
The early line, only on SportsGrid.
Welcome in. Game Time Decisions live right here on a Tuesday night. No finals. No NBA, no NHL, Major League Baseball. We'll have to step up some WNBA as well. We'll put our eye on the U.S. Open, another major event, which is coming up on Thursday. Brady Cannon will help us break that down. I'm Kevin Walsh with you here on SportsGrid. And as I said, the baseball world tonight will have to do, and there is plenty of action on this baseball board, including tonight's quick pick, which is a little strikeout prop parlay. I admittedly keep these typically behind closed doors. These picks are, I'm telling you now, it is not the same type of breakdowns as I would say you would typically get from me. This is not about trends or bounce back spots. These are pitchers that I like tonight to have good nights. And it's their striking props taken down a couple of levels. Strikeout props land close very often. You take a pitcher at 5.5, that range realistically, 3 to 7, give or take, probably a little bit closer than that, all in all. So who do we have here tonight? Same guys on Chicago and Tampa Bay, meaning both starters, Eflin and Tyone, both for 3+. Paul Skeens tonight. It is a Skeens day. We'll get into that. A gazillion bets that could be made tonight on Paul Skeens. Will one of them be for the people a Paul Skeens Cy Young ticket? The 200-1 number that we have talked about on this show continuously is still available. For how long will that be the case? Last guy's Ronel Blanco for 4+ strikeouts. That is a +111 parlay tonight as we start off the baseball board. We'll get to the rest of the baseball picks. It is Dinger Tuesday, so forgive me beginning with some pitchers. But there is some news around the NBA that came out within the last 4 or 5 hours that is Kristaps Porzingis is dealing with a rare injury, is what it's been described as, not tied to the previous injury that cost him the majority of this postseason, and it is leaving him questionable for Game 3. It is all speculation. I'm not going to sit here and definitively tell you Kristaps is out, Kristaps is in. That is silly. It doesn't look good. I think we can agree on that. What I can tell you is the Mavericks spread for Game 3 felt strong. The spread since the Kristaps news has not gone any further than the prior high point before this news came out. The spread is currently 2.5. We had already seen 2.5 on this number. It's not 3.5, it's not 4. I think the likeliest answer to why this number opened where it did, aside from Dallas getting home court, needing the game, is the books were expecting Kristaps Porzingis, who looked injured towards the end of the game against the Mavericks in Game 2 back home, to miss this third game. Now, where does the Kristaps injury start to impact things? We'll break that down in a little bit, as well as a Stanley Cup Final 2-0 lead that belongs to the Florida Panthers. Their price to win this series is now minus 490, a 4-1 victory for this team that has now seen Bobrovsky move to a minus 200 favorite to win the Conn Smythe. This is because Kachuk without a point, Verhaeghe without a point, Barkov left early with an injury and was pointless as well. Now, Bobrovsky did not have some monster game, but only allowed 1 goal and was the guy in game number 1. And as I said with Florida heading into the Stanley Cup Final, it was an award that was up for grabs on the Panthers. That's why I thought the big price on Verhaeghe was worth it. I have no regrets on that number. But it's Bobrovsky who's clearly separating from the skaters through 2. His minus 200 number is strong. I'm not going to challenge it. I have plenty of other investments in a positive direction on Florida, and I'm happy with where things stand. Let's get into tonight's Major League Baseball card. Let's start with the MLB play of the day. The best bet, it is Ezequiel Tovar over 1.5 hits, runs, RBIs at minus 120. If we look tonight as the Colorado Rockies make a trip to Minnesota, they go against Louis Varland. And Louis Varland this season has been atrocious. The ERA is above a 9. If you look, his best this season is what? 4 innings, 3 earned? Was that the first one? I mean, it's all been bad. And it's not like these have all been rock star lineups. Dodgers, Brewers, Baltimore, Detroit. I'm not saying it's been bad lineups. What I'm saying is Louis Varland's been bad. And if you look this season, he's an equal opportunist. Nearly a 400 batting average for righties, 350 batting average for lefties. As a righty himself, Ezequiel Tovar has been excellent against right-handed pitching, and we think that he can get over the 1.5 hits, runs, RBIs, batting in the 3-hole tonight for Minnesota. But that's not all I think we could see from Ezequiel Tovar. Dinger Tuesday, plus 630, tune up the band. Plus 630, Ezequiel Tovar, let's get in the mix. I think this game could have juice. We always want to try and get a game that we think can provide quite a bit of pop. And on the Minnesota side, Carlos Correa looks enticing. And again, it's a full fade of Louis Varland. Cal Quantrill could be had. So I'm happy to be involved in this game at a plus 630 price. Late night is where my other 2 picks come. I know I've largely only kept this to 2 picks, but I wanted to get Tovar in the mix. I thought the number was too good to pass up on, and I was happy with the game. If you only want to take the Tovar MLB play of the day and then lock in on these 2 Dinger Tuesday picks, that's fine by me. We go Fernando Tatis at home tonight against the Oakland Athletics and JP Sears. Tatis has been fantastic. And that price is not going to scare me off at plus 265. He's the best home run hitter, of course, on this ball club all season. And Randy Vasquez going for San Diego, while I couldn't find a favorite Athletic to go against, has been not good. And that's why I think this is a good game for us to target here tonight. And then late night, we go to Dodgers-Rangers, and we bring Shohei Ohtani into the fold at plus 250. Shohei has largely seen his pop come against right-handed pitching. Ohtani's gone 4 consecutive without a home run. And I think it's a good chance to get Ohtani back in the fold. James Paxton, probably the weakest pitcher for the LA Dodgers. The Rangers could do their part. Shout out to some people with Wyatt Langford props in tonight for Dinger Tuesday. Now, one last item here on your Major League Baseball board. In the NBA Finals, we have had an octopus 8-leg parlay. It is unfortunately sitting 0-2. The 8 legs are a combined 13-3. But the payout at plus 110 doesn't make it all too forgivable. I figure, why not give the people some juice? Plus 1155, boosted to nearly 20-1. Let's get 8 legs on the board here. To record a hit, Adley Rutschman, Carlos Correa, Juan Soto. Ketel Marte, Shohei Ohtani. To record some strikeouts, Tyone for 4, Tyler McGill for 5, Paul Skeens for 6. I mean, we're getting you nearly 20-1, 19-1 here for a little MLB octopus tonight. We figured we'd mix things up and elevate the game. We're hitting a break. We come back. Stanley Cup final updates. The movement that we've seen off of the Panthers' dominant victory with a 2-0 series lead is next.
You got Porzingis, you got Holiday, you got Derek White. You got, literally, I would say what? 5 guys can get you 20 points in a game?
I know people will say it's, only one guy. I don't believe that, Coach, that, one guy, those days are over, in my opinion. Like, a Bill Russell, a Wilt Chamberlain.
Betting above the rim. Only on SportsGrid.
8 playoff games at home for Boston in Beantown. They are 6-2 straight up.
The wild card, I would say, in this game is not necessarily, well, what are we going to get out of Luka Doncic, Kyrie Irving, Brown, and certainly Tatum. It is Kristaps Porzingis to me, because we're not getting back a player that's like, hey, rotational guy. Like, remember when Derek Lively went down with an injury? He was playing well, but a young player, like a piece.
The early line. Only on SportsGrid.
Garrett Cole's getting ready to come back too. I guess this. Look, they've played great without him, but you're not going to say to Garrett Cole, "Look, don't come back." I mean, it's a ridiculous conversation to have.
They're not going to take any unnecessary chances. And look, they're at the point where they have a lead. They certainly are going to make the playoffs, I would say, barring some sort of complete collapse. And that's all it takes.
Newswire. Only on SportsGrid.
Panthers minus 2.5 games, plus 330. Panthers 2+ goals in every game, plus 225.
It's going to take a monumental effort for them not to get 2 goals in a game. It's going to take what Bobrovsky did last night. It's going to take Skinner to do in Edmonton. They're not going to do it in Florida.
Game time decisions. Only on SportsGrid.
Back to right here. We're live on SportsGrid, Game Time Decisions. Let's talk quickly some Oilers-Panthers. And I think right now, look, Florida looks the much better team. I know Game 1, Edmonton outplayed them. But as I said, Edmonton, similar to the Dallas Mavericks. The Mavericks are not winning the finals. I thought that was the case already. But now it's up in the air as to how long Dallas can extend that series, because they lost a game they kind of couldn't lose, which was Game 2, where Boston had a bad shooting night and was only able to score 105 on their home floor. The Boston give it game, basically, right? Well, Edmonton saw something similar from Florida. Oilers outskated them, outshot them, and still lost that game. Didn't score. You know, the Oilers are sitting now on 1 goal through 2 games. In the entire Western Conference playoffs, this team had only 3 instances of scoring 1 or less goals. They've now done it both games so far against Florida. The interesting bit here, I will say, for this series moving forward is the Barkov injury. Now, I'm not going to sit here and pretend to tell you that I know everything that Alexander Barkov means to this hockey team. I'm also not entirely positive that he won't be able to answer the starting bell for Game 3. It's up in the air. They have a little bit more rest. That series doesn't resume tomorrow. It resumes Thursday. But if Barkov is out, while that would obviously hurt his chances to win the Conn Smythe, I've been told his ability as a defensive player against some of the top goal scorers and attackers in hockey. I know he's not a defenseman, he's a center, but his ability to match up with top centers in this sport is a big part of the success that the Panthers had. If all of a sudden this allows McDavid and Draisaitl to get free in Game 3, and Bobrovsky all of a sudden, let's just say this Game 3 is a 5-2 win for Edmonton. I know that's the high end of it all. Well, Bobrovsky's going to take a big hit. The question is, do people run to give Barkov the credit, in which case losing the game will still be good for him, or could Tkachuk or Verhaeghe be opportunistic, put a point or two on the board despite the loss, had the stats a little, and tighten this race up a little bit for the Conn Smythe Trophy? A lot of that, though, is hanging in the balance with no clear-cut answer due to the fact we don't have the status for Barkov at the moment. Now, Game 3's line is out. It's minus 134, Edmonton as the favorite. Total sitting right now 5.5 for that game. And I don't know what I'll do on Thursday. If I had to guess right now, I will run back the Connor McDavid 2+ points play. While the juice is a little bit worse in Game 3 than it was in Game 2, the bounce-back spot nature still applies. McDavid with a point in yesterday's loss, but 2+ points was impossible. They only scored a goal. Again, they have 1 goal through the Stanley Cup final. Edmonton, if they can get to 3 or 4, you know McDavid will be on the other end of it. You just know that's going to be true. Can Draisaitl get into the mix now is another question. He's pointless so far through 2 games. I'm sure people will be looking to line up Leon. Parlay piece, anytime goal scorer, anytime assister, whatever it may, 2+ points. Can Edmonton break free, though, is becoming the question. Because we'll talk to the Consig a little bit later on. We'll talk to Joe Madden. So we'll talk to Tom Vecchio, and we'll get their thoughts. But if Edmonton's offense is not going to wake up, I mean, it's not just obviously going to be a Panthers win. Well, these will stay dead unders, and you got to be very careful as a prop better then. You know, if you want to kind of move around different books and start betting under points, under assists, you can, right? But those are tricky propositions heading into this game. As far as any updated other, series numbers that we kind of have and should be interested in right now, the Panthers to score 2+ goals in every game of the series, a wager that I placed before this series began, and a wager that is still alive, of course, through the first 2 games, is plus 134. I think that's a really nice bet. That hardly dropped from Game 2 to Game 3. Now, that is because we're seeing Florida go from home to road. We're seeing the total stay at 5.5. So a Panthers team total would be 2.5, right? And it wouldn't be overly expensive in that way. But at plus 134, do people think that Edmonton's going to win this 3-1? 2-1? That's how the Oilers are going to get back into this. I really don't. My read on this now, and of course, we can always be wrong, but I think the Oilers missed their opportunity to completely bottle up Florida. And make no mistake, holding a team to a goal or a shutout is completely bottling someone up. Stuart Skinner's not going to have a shutout in this series. It's not happening. So, plus 134. And how many games do you have left? I said Panthers in 5. Do you think that they will score 2+ goals in the next 3 games? I certainly do. And you didn't have to sweat out 2 of the games. And I think my bet was plus 225. I mean, it's not, you would have thought, I was probably getting much better value than you would be with 2 games having passed by. Not really. Not really. Panthers for 3+ goals scored in every game is plus 540. That's a little trickier. I think at that point, I'd probably rather bet the sweep, which is plus 330. I'd probably rather bet, Oilers could win 4-3, 5-3. Yeah, plus 540. It's not bad. I don't hate it. But again, I might prefer the sweep in that spot. We're taking a break here, though, on Game Time Decisions. We come back, and we'll talk some basketball. NBA, WNBA, what does tonight's card look like? Another loss for the Indiana Fever last night, and some updates around the NBA Finals.
You got Porzingis, you got Holiday, you got Derek White. You got literally, I would say what? 5 guys can get you 20 points in a game?
I know people will say it's, only one guy. I don't believe that, Coach. That, one guy, those days are over, in my opinion. Like, a Bill Russell, a Wilt Chamberlain.
Betting above the rim. Only on SportsGrid.
8 playoff games at home for Boston in Beantown. They are 6-2 straight up.
The wild card, I would say, in this game is not necessarily, what are we going to get out of Luka Doncic, Kyrie Irving, Brown, and certainly Tatum. It is Kristaps Porzingis to me, because we're not getting back a player that's like, hey, rotational guy. Like, remember when Derek Lively went down with the injury? He was playing well, but a young player, like a piece.
The early line. Only on SportsGrid.
Garrett Cole's getting ready to come back too. I guess this. Look, they've played great without him, but you're not going to say to Garrett Cole, "Look, don't come back." I mean, it's a ridiculous conversation to have.
They're not going to take any unnecessary chances. And look, they're at the point where they have a lead. They certainly are going to make the playoffs, I would say, barring some sort of complete collapse. And that's all it takes.
Newswire. Only on SportsGrid.
Panthers minus 2.5 games, plus 330. Panthers 2+ goals in every game, plus 225.
It's going to take a monumental effort for them not to get 2 goals in a game. It's going to take what Bobrovsky did last night. It's going to take Skinner to do in Edmonton. They're not going to do it in Florida.
Game Time Decisions. Only on SportsGrid.
Back right here, it's Game Time Decisions. Just eyeing up your WNBA card tonight. 3 games, Commissioner Cup style. It starts with the winless Washington Mystics in a dropping spread. 7.5s becoming 6.5s now on the road against the Atlanta Dream. Total 156.5. Don't love that game. The next one should be great. It's the Vegas Aces and the Minnesota Lynx. A 6.5-point spread in favor of Las Vegas. Total right now sitting 166. A quick big picture item. Firstly, and it is what it is. as someone that played the Indiana Fever to win a WNBA championship, on the ceiling of Caitlin Clark and the just get me to the postseason nature of that wager, I am very likely not getting to the postseason. That is now a plus 290 bet for the Fever to make it. That isn't the frustrating part. The frustrating part is I had considered Minnesota at 45-1 for a WNBA championship play and decided to just bet their win total over. And while nothing is a guarantee, the 17.5 is now 25.5 for that win total. It jumped 8 wins, and this team has only played 11 games. They're 8-3 right now, the Minnesota Lynx. And you look at the WNBA championship prices, and they now have the third best odds. It's still Vegas, though, who has the best price. Yet you look at the Vegas line tonight at 6.5, and you think for the first time, perhaps all season long, the books are looking across the aisle and saying, okay, maybe this team isn't unreal. Maybe this team isn't a class of their own, right? This is a bounce-back Vegas spot in a major way. They've lost 2 in a row, 3 of 4. Now they're in their own building against a Minnesota Lynx team who they played on the road and beat by 14. And you're seeing 6.5s here. It's Minnesota getting some respect, who were catching points at home to the Seattle Storm in their last basketball game, and they beat Seattle again, 83-64. For me, forget side. I like total. I like over 166. Last time they met, it looked like an under game, and it was, but that total was closer to $170. I think this has dropped too much. We all know the Vegas Aces offense goes wild following a loss. That was true even in the consecutive loss to the Sparks with 92 points. I look for offense out in the desert for that game between the Aces and the Lynx. Late night mentioned the Seattle Storm. They're laying double digits to an LA Sparks team that's now put 2 on the board consecutively, one against the Dallas Wings, and then the upset victory over the Vegas Aces. Both of those were home games, and I'm trying not to get trapped here. It looks like too many points. But before the loss to Minnesota, Seattle was rolling, consistently winning by margin, covering numbers, hitting the stride that people were projecting them to hit. So now playing this LA Sparks team, total checks in at 157.5. I don't want to lay 11.5, but Seattle is probably the right side. So I'd probably want to try and find myself to a team total here between the two. Would I rather a Sparks under? Would I rather get involved maybe with the over for Seattle? 72.5 is your Sparks number. 84.5 is your Seattle number. I'd probably rather play that Sparks team total under. Coming off 96 scored against Vegas, and hope you can sell high on that number. It's a tricky game, though, late night. That is where things sit in the WNBA tonight. I guess one last point to make. I know we said we talked some NBA. We'll mix it in here, though. We've got Tom Vecchio on deck. We'll get some of his thoughts, what he's seen from the NBA Finals. Tonight has to be an important game for the A'ja Wilson MVP price. Now, maybe I am shouting in an empty forest. Perhaps it's irrelevant. But if Vegas loses tonight, I don't really care what her stat line is. But if Vegas loses tonight and goes to 500 on the season, and I believe at that point would be one loss away from matching last year's full season total, how do you not drop the number? And perhaps more importantly, how do you not slice the Nafisha Collier price significantly? 21.4 points, 11.4 rebounds. She's been brilliant both sides of the ball. It's something to keep an eye on. But again, it looks like a Vegas night, and A'ja should be excellent here in what is a step-up spot that her team needs her to be excellent. I'm looking again for an over, though, in that game. Tom Vecchio's on deck. It's Stinger Tuesday.
got Porzingis, you got Holiday, you got Derek White. You got literally, I would say what? 5 guys can get you 20 points in a game?
I know people will say it's, only one guy. I don't believe that, Coach, that, one guy, those days are over, in my opinion. Like, a Bill Russell, a Wilt Chamberlain.
Betting above the rim. Only on SportsGrid.
8 playoff games at home for Boston in Beantown. They are 6-2 straight up.
The wild card, I would say, in this game is not necessarily, well, what are we going to get out of Luka Doncic, Kyrie Irving, Brown, and certainly Tatum. It is Kristaps Porzingis to me, because we're not getting back a player that's like, hey, rotational guy. Like, remember when Derek Lively went down with an injury? He was playing well, but a young player, like a piece.
The early line. Only on SportsGrid.
Garrett Cole is getting ready to come back too. I guess look, they've played great without him, but you're not going to say to Garrett Cole, look, don't come back. I mean, it's a ridiculous conversation to have.
They're not going to take any unnecessary chances. And look, they're at the point where they have a lead. They certainly are going to make the playoffs, I would say, barring some sort of complete collapse. And that's all it takes.
Newswire. Only on SportsGrid.
Panthers minus 2.5 games, plus 330. Panthers 2+ goals in every game, plus 225.
It's going to take a monumental effort for them not to get 2 goals in a game. It's going to take what Bobrovsky did last night. It's going to take Skinner to do in Edmonton. They're not going to do it in Florida.
Game time decisions. Only on SportsGrid.
Live on SportsGrid, it's Game Time Decisions. Kevin Walsh with you here in the mix now, joined by Tom Vecchio. Tom, it's always good to have you on a Tuesday. How's everything?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me. We hit last week on Ryan Mountcastle. I know Coach Jay White was happy with that pick last week. He cashed on that.
Sure was.
We got to keep things rolling. I think there are some really good spots tonight. I can narrow it down if there are people out there that want to have one final pick, but I'll certainly give some options.
Yeah, I think people want options, and I would – my advice would be have options on a Dinger Tuesday.
Right.
No reason not to go for it. Now, you can only take one per game, and I'm not saying take every game,
right.
But if Tom gives you a couple he likes, Donnie Rightside gives you a couple he likes, I give you one you like, I come on, I can't possibly have given you a couple you like. I gave you 3, but there's no way you like all of them. It's me. But listen, you can round that up, and maybe you have 6-7 guys tonight. So let's go Dinger Tuesday style, Tom. Who do you like?
My number 1 on the board tonight is Christian Walker from the Diamondbacks. They did a home run at plus 450, 5.04 implied run total for them going up against the Angels. Jose Suarez is on the mound for the Angels tonight. 486 slugging, 371 WOBA. He's only on 0.96 home runs per 9 this year to righties, but he's giving about 40% fly ball rate, and that doesn't necessarily line up. He should be due for some negative regression in terms of more home runs per 9, given that fly ball rate he's allowing. Walker this year, 123 WRC plus, 174 ISO. He has a 46.8% fly ball rate and a 44% hard contact rate versus lefties. It is basically a picture-perfect matchup of what I want to see. And over the last few games, if we look back to the Padres series, he has multiple batted balls hit with an exit velocity of over 103, 4 of them over 103 miles per hour, none of them for home runs. So I love seeing that. He's crushing the ball right now, just not getting home runs right now.
Yeah, this is going to be plus 450. People are going to be in on, and then plus 440 on Freddie Freeman. It's hard to argue. I'm playing Ohtani at a plus 250 number, and it feels silly to play him so much shorter than Freddie Freeman at a price like that, Tom.
Yeah, Ohtani's like, what's the comparison used? He's kind of like, I guess, Scotty Scheffler sometimes, where it's just like, we know what his price is going to be. It's like, they're not great odds, but
yeah.
The lefties tonight are in an awesome spot versus Dane Dunning, getting crushed by them. 2.82 home runs per 9, 40.7% fly ball rate, 45% hard contact rate, a 523 slugging allowed to lefties. I like Freeman. If we look over his last 50 plate appearances, he's in the top 25 of the league when it comes to his rolling xWOBA window. If you look on Baseball Savant, He's really getting hot. He started off the year a little bit slow in terms of power, but he's really getting that going right now. So I like him 175 WRC plus. He's got 229 ISO versus righties, along with a 46% fly ball rate. So he's heating up at the plate. That lineup is super dangerous. He hits in an awesome spot. We can roll with Freddie Freeman. I like Brent Rooker as well for the Oakland Athletics.
All right, Brent Rooker, who hooked us up over the weekend with a little MLB play today. I have a quick question for you, because I know price matters to you, right? You always want to make sure you have the best of the number. And I imagine on a regular basis, because I'm assuming you start with the numbers qualifying and then you'll kind of play your favorite prices. But I imagine every time Aaron Judge's numbers qualify, is Aaron Judge someone that you will find yourself betting to hit home runs, or are his numbers just going to be too short, basically, at this point now?
They're almost always too short. They really are. Like, there are nights when he's like 250. There was a night last week, I think it was 195. And that's just not something I'm comfortable with. I will say, oftentimes you can find boosts, you can find promos to add a plus 20% boost, add a plus 200 onto a home run prop. Those types of things, if you can get your Don or Judge or Ohtani, you get him at 265, you can add 200 onto that. I'll roll with that. Like, it's just objectively a great price at that point. But if he's under 300, I really don't consider too many hitters under 300 or even 330. Like, Rooker's on the low end for me tonight.
I think Judge last week was under 2-1. I'm pretty sure.
I think it was 186 or 196, something like that.
Yeah, so it's just remarkable. The wind must be blowing out or something in Kansas City, because that totals up to 9.5 now with Singer Stroman going. And I would look under, but I don't know the ballpark situation. Again, the wind's got to be, I don't know, it says it's not going out. But Kansas City, I know, has hitting weather. I'll leave that be. Tom, talk to me, NBA Finals. Has anything stood out to you through 2 games, or Boston's a better team? They protected home court, no wild overreactions.
Boston's clearly the better team, and what I said to Ben and Donnie on Monday is, like, someone has to help Luka. Like, there's got to be like a meme out there we could use. It's like, someone help him. He is doing everything he possibly can. The stat is like no one else has hit more than 2 threes in the rest of the roster except him. Like, someone has to do more. So yeah, Boston's like a well-oiled machine at this point. And with the Porzingis news, I think it doesn't change things too much. I'm still going to be interested in Tatum unders. I'm still going to be interested in Derek White overs. Al Horford rebounding. Yesterday on the early line, I spoke to Ben and Donnie about Al Horford over 6.5 rebounds. That line's now at 7.5, obviously, with the Porzingis news. So that changes things a little bit. I would still say shop for the best amount available. Also, maybe potentially find a in-game middle, some live player props. I know you are a big fan of those. But ultimately, I actually like the other side, and that's Daniel Gafford over 5.5 rebounds. This is the time for Dallas to get down low and exploit some size. PJ Washington, Gafford, Lively, Derrick Jones, get those guys in the middle. Get him to the rim, get Al Horford in foul trouble, because if Horford's in foul trouble, that means who's coming off the bench? It's going to be Luke Cornett and Xavier Tillman, and that's the matchups they should be looking to exploit. So the rebounding, the extra effort on the rebounds from the big men from Dallas, that should be the key for Game 3.
Question, you mentioned you want to keep fading Jason Tatum. Why is that?
Well, he's not shooting the ball well right now, and you look back at, he was shooting like 31% over his career in the finals. He's not shooting well, and he's actually, I'm not saying he's playing badly. They're doing a good job of containing him. He's distributing the ball well now, and I think he's recognizing that he has to do more in terms of facilitating the offense, the half-court offense, which we know they have struggled with in the past 2 postseasons. If he can be the off-ball distributor outside of Drew Holiday, what do you have, 12 assists in the last game, right? Something like that?
Yeah.
So if he doesn't have to shoot and he can recognize what they're doing on defense, he can allow Brown and Derek White to knock down threes. Drew Holiday have a good game, so he doesn't need to be the guy on offense. It's like a well-rounded approach for all of them, all 4 or 5 of them, to all score 15-plus points, and no one needs to have 35.
So I think it's interesting, and I'm not going to tell you you're wrong. I had someone who bet under Tatum's threes every game in the playoffs until it lost, and they were completely rolling, right? My thing with Tatum the facilitator, which he has been, but I did get a little kick out of him in the postgame being like, listen, I'm not worried about scoring. You know, Jason Tatum took 22 shots last game. Jason Tatum is very much so worried about scoring. He wants to score. He wants finals MVP, and that's okay.
It is.
All I'm saying, Tom, is at some point, unless the NBA Finals are going to break this guy again, he's going to snap out of it for at least one good scoring game. It's insane if he doesn't. It just defies the odds.
I would agree with all of that, but at this point, he said 2 unders. So if you just keep betting the under till it misses, like you just said, if the series ends up quickly, you could still come out profitable.
Sure.
So
yeah, if this is done in 5, which is favored to end in, then you need one more under, and you're good to go. So I think that's totally fair. Before we get you out of here, Stanley Cup final thoughts. Florida up 2-0.
Florida looks great right now. My Verhaeghe Conn Smythe isn't looking too great if Bobrovsky continues to play like this. He's the favorite right now, I think, at -160. So we want to see Verhaeghe get a game-winning goal as he had in Game 1 since they won 3-0. The first goal was his. It has to be a McDavid or Draisaitl goal prop in Game 2. Zach Hyman's also going to be in the mix there. They have to have like 10-plus shots in the first period. That's been one of my favorite bets in the playoffs. 10-plus shots in the first period for the Edmonton Oilers. If they come out slow as they started in Game 2 with 5 shots in the first period, whatever it was, they're cooked. Like, this series is going to be over 4-1.
Yeah, this is a team whose offense has to wake up. If it does, I'm just wondering, could that move the Bobrovsky number enough to open the door? I think the Barkov, is he going to play Game 3 questions will be big until they're answered. Tom, great as always. Joe Madden's up next.
You got Porzingis, you got Holiday, you got Derek White, you got literally, I would say what, 5 guys can get you 20 points in a game?
I know people will say it's, only one guy. I don't believe that, Coach, that, one guy, those days are over, in my opinion. Like, a Bill Russell, a Wilt Chamberlain.
Betting above the rim, only on SportsGrid.
8 playoff games at home for Boston in Beantown. They are 6-2 straight up.
The wild card, I would say, in this game is not necessarily, well, what are we going to get out of Luka Doncic, Kyrie Irving, Brown, and certainly Tatum. It is Kristaps Porzingis to me, because we're not getting back a player that's like, hey, rotational guy. Like, remember when Derek Lively went down with the injury? He was playing well, but a young player, like a piece.
The early line, only on SportsGrid.
Garrett Cole's getting ready to come back too. I guess this. Look, they've played great without him, but you're not going to say to Garrett Cole, "Look, don't come back." I mean, it's a ridiculous conversation to have.
They're not going to take any unnecessary chances. And look, they're at the point where they have a lead. They certainly are going to make the playoffs, I would say, barring some sort of complete collapse. And that's all it takes.
Newswire, only on SportsGrid.
Panthers -2.5 games, plus 330. Panthers 2+ goals in every game, plus 225.
It's going to take a monumental effort for them not to get 2 goals in a game. It's going to take what Bobrovsky did last night. It's going to take Skinner to do in Edmonton. They're not going to do it in Florida.
Game time decisions, only on SportsGrid.
Back right here, Game Time Decisions. Kevin Walsh with you on this Tuesday. I chuckle on my way in. And I'll tell you why. But first, let me bring in Joe Madden. Joe, great to have you with us here with plenty of baseball to get to, as well as some Stanley Cup final reactions. But as we were getting going, I could hear in the back, I'm not kidding, it's not a bit, a loud roar over the Detroit Tigers starter Kenta Maeda being wild to start because they're playing the Washington Nationals. And I realized we didn't bring you on early enough to get a Washington National Detroit Tigers pick from you. Are you invested in this game at all?
Of course, you know I am. It's
course.
SportsGrid's team,
course.
Kevin. You said it last
That's right.
game. The Washington
That's right.
Nationals to be able to get the win. This is going to be a lower scoring game. Take the under, take the Washington
Okay.
Nationals, and thank me later.
All right, there it goes. Again, SportsGrid's team, the Washington Nationals, in the fold. Let's get to some upcoming action here, though, in Boston, as we've got – oh, no, let me not go to Boston. Excuse me. We have a 6:50 game here, Tampa Bay, Chicago. Tyone goes for the Cubbies. Zach Eflin going for the Rays. What do you like in this game?
I'm loving Zach Eflin. You look at Zach Eflin and Talon here, both of them have been struggling to get those strikeouts on the board and giving up that hard contact. But I do think Zach Eflin in this game has the ability to go over his strikeouts. It's a rare thing as of late for him to be able to do so, but that number is low. 4.5 strikeouts, you're getting that at right around -102 to the over. And I'm going to take his outs as well, Kevin. His outs coming in at 15.5. I think he does have that ability. You look here at the Chicago Cubs, and I do think they're going to struggle to be able to hit off of him. So give me big on Zach Eflin over 4.5 strikeouts and over 15.5 outs in this one. But I do think this could be kind of one of those games. You're getting so much value on the Cubs in the first 5. This could be a 1-0 first 5 innings here. So something to look at. I'm not betting the first 5 for the Cubs, but I do think they might be able to sneak out that first 5.
Yeah, I will say I love to see that. It's a great start. Zach Eflin is a part of an 8-leg parlay that I have on today's Major League Baseball board. So is Adley Rutschman, who was about to take to the plate here against Max Fried. Now going to Fenway Park here, Boston and Philadelphia. Weird schedule spot. Major League Baseball is insane. These guys were in London 2 days ago. They couldn't get 2 days rest. I mean, you can get like 15 days in the NFL coming off of a London game. Nevertheless, Joe, what do you think about Zach Wheeler going to Fenway Park?
We've got to have a strong day out of Zach Wheeler here in this one. I'm taking him over the 6.5 strikeouts. That's coming in at -118. If you want to take him to be able to record the win here for the Phillies, I love it as well. I think he's going to come out strong enough. That's coming in at +105. And then I'm also going to take the Phillies on that run line, laying the 1.5 at +105. I really do think they have the complete edge here with Zach Wheeler coming out. I know a lot of people are liking him for his over in walks today. I think we're going to see a lot out of Zach Wheeler, and I think people are underestimating him here in this matchup versus the Red Sox, Kevin.
It's a really interesting spot, I will say. Cutter Crawford, one of the more interesting pitchers in the league. When you look at his full season numbers at a 3.51 ERA, they're very respectable. You look at his splits this season, you know, he's been strong, but he's been pretty poor his last 3 outings. 6 earned, 5 earned, 4 earned. It's hard to trust Cutter Crawford with someone of Zach Wheeler's caliber going on the other side. How about the St. Louis Cardinals, Joe, going up against Paul Skeens? You know, it's incredible, but you look at this slate. We just talked about Zach Wheeler, favorite to win NL Cy Young, and he's not the guy who has all the specials and the conversation around him heading into this slate. It's Paul Skeens, who's 200-1 to win NL Cy Young. And should not be 200-1 win NL Cy Young, quite frankly, Joe. But what do you see tonight here with the Pirates going up against St. Louis?
I look at Paul Skeens here, and he's going to absolutely neutralize the St. Louis Cardinals in this matchup, Kevin. I look at him and how strong he was in that last outing versus the Dodgers, and the St. Louis Cardinals are not as strong at bat as the Dodgers are or ever will be. So I'm going to look at the St. Louis Cardinals here under 3.5 runs in this one. It's a little juicy at -130, but you look at Paul Skeens coming out here. He has won 2 of 3 on the road so far this season, and I do think he can dominate. So if you want to look at the Pirates in the first 5 as well, I don't hate that. I think he comes out phenomenally strong. Now, his strikeout prop is high because we've been seeing those strikeouts go absolutely through the roof. He's been so phenomenally strong. Everything points me to the Pirates to get this win today.
All right, so some love for the Pittsburgh Pirates. I hope Paul Skeens goes out there, quite frankly, throws a perfect game. That's what I'm rooting on. I mean, it's enough. 200-1 win NL Cy Young. One of the books going to show some respect and offer the people a cash out so we can get out of here and not have to worry about this thing anymore. Let's talk Yankees baseball. Best team in the sport. I don't care what the Dodgers did. Soto wasn't there. No Judge yesterday. All they needed was Soto. All they needed was Alex Verdugo. We love to see it. Singer Stroman. This total's insane. It's a 9.5 all of a sudden. What do you like in this game, Joe?
It's crazy. We've got a 9.5 in this one with the pitching matchup. Both of these pitchers have been strong. You look at Singer at home, that's a 2.16 ERA. Stroman on the road, a 2.08. But I do think with these lineups, how phenomenally strong they are, Kevin, I can't take this one to the under. I think those balls are flying out of the park tonight. Of course, on a Tuesday here, I'm taking Aaron Judge for the anytime home run. That's coming in at plus 215. Now, if you want to take him for the RBI, you're going to lay the juice at minus 125. But I'm also going to look at Bobby Witt Jr. I can't get past the value here of Bobby Witt Jr. That's coming in at plus 520. Absolutely love it. And then give me the Yankees to be able to get the win here over the Kansas City Royals.
You know what? I just realized something, Joe. I had circled Juan Soto as a possible option for Dinger Tuesday. And you're on Judge. You mentioned Bobby Witt Jr. as well, right? So I'll get Soto, and then this is just now another Dinger Tuesday game. It just has to be. If the ball's going to fly out like this tonight at Kauffman, why wouldn't we be plus 520 on Bobby Witt, Joe? That's a huge number.
Right? It's crazy. You can't pass up that value on Bobby Witt Jr. tonight. He can get this on Stroman here. Yeah.
Yeah. I thought Stroman could bounce back, but the weather says it won't. These weather games get tricky, though. I'm adding Soto. Add Juan Soto. Home run. Here we go. Everyone's going to hit a home run in this game. It's going to be electric. We have a couple of more baseball picks from Joe, as well as her thoughts on the 2-0 deficit the Edmonton Oilers are facing against the Florida Panthers. That's next, right here on SportsGrid.
You got Porzingis, you got Holiday, you got Derek White. You got literally, I would say what? 5 guys can get you 20 points in a game?
I know people will say it's, only one guy. I don't believe that, Coach, that, one guy, those days are over, in my opinion. Like, a Bill Russell, a Wilt Chamberlain.
Betting above the rim. Only on SportsGrid.
8 playoff games at home for Boston in Beantown. They are 6-2 straight up.
The wild card, I would say, in this game is not necessarily, well, what are we going to get out of Luka Doncic, Kyrie Irving, Brown, and certainly Tatum. It is Kristaps Porzingis to me, because we're not getting back a player that's like, hey, rotational guy. Like, remember when Derek Lively went down with the injury? He was playing well, but a young player, like a piece.
The early line. Only on SportsGrid.
Garrett Cole is getting ready to come back, too. I guess this... Look, they've played great without him, but you're not going to say to Garrett Cole, look, don't come back. I mean, it's a ridiculous conversation to have.
They're not going to take any unnecessary chances. And look, they're at the point where they have a lead. They certainly are going to make the playoffs, I would say, barring some sort of complete collapse. And that's all it takes.
Newswire. Only on SportsGrid.
Panthers minus 2.5 games, plus 330. Panthers 2+ goals in every game, plus 225.
It's going to take a monumental effort for them not to get 2 goals in a game. It's going to take what Bobrovsky did last night. It's going to take Skinner to do in Edmonton. They're not going to do it in Florida.
Game time decisions. Only on SportsGrid.
Live here, Game Time Decisions. Joe, we have a couple more baseball picks from you to get to, including what is, again, a pitcher who... So usually when I go through the baseball card, if I see an opener, I'm like, all right, I can't bet this game. Or if I see Kikuchi. I just can't get the Kikuchi starts correct. I can't do it. I don't know what it is. I lost on Toronto yesterday as well, so even less confidence looking at their game with the Milwaukee Brewers. What did you think about the Blue Jays and the Brew Crew?
A lot of people lost on the Blue Jays yesterday, that first five especially, thinking the Blue Jays would be able to come out strong enough, and they just weren't able to. Looking at them here today with Kikuchi, I hear you, Kevin. He's a hard pitcher to back. On the road, he's got 31 strikeouts in 29 innings pitched. I'm going to back him for his strikeouts. Now, if you just look at his straight strikeout prop, it's 5.5, and it's way highly juiced to the over. You've got to take it to 7+ strikeouts. And as long as Kikuchi can go 6 innings in this one, I do think he has the ability to get 7 strikeouts on the board. That's coming in at plus 130. You look at him, and he's been able to go 6 innings in 6 of his 11 starts. So I do think we have the ability to cash on those strikeouts here versus the Milwaukee Brewers. But I'm staying off the Blue Jays for the game. This is a team that I absolutely can't trust. Their bullpen. I was trying to look at Vladdy here for his runs or his hits, but I just couldn't come up with anything that I really felt confident in backing the Blue Jays other than Kikuchi.
Yeah, again, folks, get in the mix. I can't. It's good that I don't. It's good that I don't. It probably would ruin the bet. Lastly, Joe, Rangers-Dodgers. What are we doing here?
We're taking the Yurfie, Kevin. The yes runs in the first inning coming in at minus 128. The Texas Rangers coming out with Dane Dunning and James Paxton here for the LA Dodgers. Now, we know James Paxton has been hit incredibly hard as of late, and I do think he's going to get into better form here in this game. But for the top of the lineup here of the Texas Rangers to be able to hit him, I do have the confidence. And we know this Dodgers lineup, the top of their lineup is so phenomenally strong. It's always terrifying to take a Nerfie in games versus the Dodgers. But I do think in this one, you look at that Yurfie, play the juice minus 128 for the yes runs in the first inning. One of these teams is going to be able to hit off of the other. Dane Dunning coming in here 4-4 on the season with a 4.09 ERA. These pitchers are hittable, and I do think the top of the lineups will do so.
Let's get a Yurfie going then for the people. Joe, before we let you get out of here, 2-0 series lead for the Florida Panthers. You seem to be loving it.
I am absolutely loving it. I asked you if you could see my glow at the commercial break. I am loving it for the Florida Panthers here. This team is absolutely incredibly strong. And for Edmonton to get swept here, wow. The Calgary Flames fans and Calgary would be so happy to see it. Kevin, I don't know if you saw the tweet out by the Calgary Tower, which is our big tower in the city, saying yesterday, it was lit blue and orange. And this wasn't for our neighbors to the north. They made sure they said that whatsoever. It was for Anxiety Day yesterday. So the whole city is behind it. You've got that 1 or 2 fans. They're not true Calgary fans that are rooting for Edmonton to get the win. But this was a fantastic game out of the Florida Panthers. Offensively and defensively, they really stepped up compared to that game 1. Bobrovsky won them game 1. If they start playing like they did in game 1, Edmonton will be able to answer back. Now, with Verhaeghe, huge question marks on if he's going to play game 3. Hopefully he can play game 3. Otherwise, I think Edmonton can steal game 3 on their own home ice here, Kevin.
That's the big question now, Joe. Do you feel that Edmonton still has some life heading back home? Is home ice again hasn't been that important. I feel like that's kind of the tough sell of it all.
Well, you look at the Edmonton Oilers, and they look completely deflated in that third period there. You look at the shots on goal that were so limited in the first and second that I do think we will see those struggles coming out of Edmonton going back home. So with the media back home for Edmonton, this isn't a fun place for this team to play. They have better ability to get those wins at home than they do on the road. And I don't know, Kevin. This is going to be a hard one for Edmonton. They have to win game 3. If they don't win game 3, Edmonton is done, and I would look for Florida to be able to get the sweep here because I think emotionally, Edmonton's not going to be able to bounce back from that. And I'm sorry, I said Verhaeghe before. I meant Barkov out of this lineup. It's just a huge impact for the Florida Panthers. He's the best two-way player out there on the ice for the Florida Panthers, so they need him back out there for game 3. At least there's a lot of rest here. That kicks off on Thursday, Kevin.
Yeah, can't wait to break that one down. Should still be fun to follow here. Plus 330 right now for the sweep. Great stuff as always from Joe Madden. Brady Cannon joins us next. Scotty Scheffler week, we'll find out.
got Porzingis, you got Holiday, you got Derek White. You got literally, I would say what? 5 guys can get you 20 points in a game?
I know people will say it's, only one guy. I don't believe that, Coach, that, one guy, those days are over, in my opinion. Like, a Bill Russell, a Wilt Chamberlain.
Betting above the rim. Only on SportsGrid.
8 playoff games at home for Boston in Beantown. They are 6-2 straight up.
The wild card, I would say, in this game is not necessarily, well, what are we going to get out of Luka Doncic, Kyrie Irving, Brown, and certainly Tatum. It is Kristaps Porzingis to me, because we're not getting back a player that's like, hey, rotational guy. Like, remember when Derek Lively went down with an injury? He was playing well, but a young player, like a piece.
The early line. Only on SportsGrid.
Garrett Cole is getting ready to come back too. I guess this. Look, they've played great without him, but you're not going to say to Garrett Cole, "Look, don't come back." I mean, it's a ridiculous conversation to have.
They're not going to take any unnecessary chances. And look, they're at the point where they have a lead. They certainly are going to make the playoffs, I would say, barring some sort of complete collapse. And that's all it takes.
Newswire. Only on SportsGrid.
Panthers minus 2.5 games, plus 330. Panthers 2+ goals in every game, plus 225.
It's going to take a monumental effort for them not to get 2 goals in a game. It's going to take what Bobrovsky did last night. It's going to take Skinner to do in Edmonton. They're not going to do it in Florida.
Game time decisions. Only on SportsGrid.
Welcome back in, folks. Live with you right here on SportsGrid. Kevin Walsh. It is a Tuesday night, now joined by Brady Cannon. Brady, great to talk to you for another major event here with the U.S. Open teeing off on Thursday.
Yeah, absolutely, man. I mean, we talked about this before. It's been such a good run of golf. It started with the Wells Fargo Championship, going into the PGA Championship. Then you have a couple of classics, Colonial Country Club, the Canadian Open. Then we go to the Memorial last week. I mean, that played, Kevin, as the second most difficult tournament all year, only second to the Masters. And you saw how gruelingly tough that was on all those players. Even the world's greatest, Scotty Scheffler, made a triple bogey. And now we go into just an iconic venue, one of the most famous golf resorts in America, Pinehurst number 2 for the U.S. Open. And then another signature event next week. And what we're witnessing out of Mr. Scheffler is equally compelling. Mm-hmm. So it's just golf's really popping right now. Let's say that. Let's put it that way for sure.
Yeah, certainly so, Brady. Let's start with Jon Rahm. Only because today it was confirmed he would not be going into this tournament, and to some degree, it's almost a shame because we were probably going to see our longest Rahm number at an event like this in some time due to the form. Now, perhaps it saved bettors who were going to take a swing on a guy who, again, at these events had been out of form and would have been entering at less than 100%. You had alluded to the idea Rahm would miss this tournament over the weekend. But this is a guy who so frequently was, I think, viewed neck and neck with Scotty Scheffler. This year, the gap couldn't be wider, Brady. And your thoughts on him missing the U.S. Open?
It's unfortunate because Jon Rahm is a contender every time he puts a peg in the ground. And I like Jon Rahm. You know, I mean, I feel a little – I wonder if I feel bad for him. It seems like he's not comfortable on the LIV circuit. I think he's second-guessing himself. He doesn't seem to be adapting well to the format, only playing 54 holes, the rock and roll, and this whole different. I think he's having a little bit of buyer's remorse, and that's unfortunate because I miss him on the PGA Tour. I miss a lot of the guys. I miss Dustin Johnson, and at least we have all these guys together for major championships. Rahm has not had a good, I mean, he's been pretty darn good on Live. I think he's finished top 10 in every single event. Maybe he missed the top 10 last week, but other than that, he's hit top 10 every week. Hasn't done very well in the majors at all. So, and I think that it goes to, some of his discomfort with this change he's made from one tour to the other. Obviously, he's hurt. We hope he gets better. We hope we see him at the British Open. The better the competition, the more I enjoy it. So I hope everybody's in the fold at the end of the day.
Yeah, I think it's well said here. But instead, we enter this tournament where whether Rahm was in it or not, the guy to beat was going to be Scottie Scheffler. And, man, Brady, when did you tell us you were betting Scottie for the U.S. Open?
Right
2
after
weeks
the
ago?
Right after it would have been a month ago, right after the PGA. And I think we were signing off. We were getting ready to go to break, and I said, bet Scheffler now. And that's back when he could have gotten 5-1. I didn't get 5. I got plus 450. And then just last Sunday, Kevin, he was, still on the front 9, the back 9, what have you, before he won at the Memorial. I was still able to grab 4-1. Now the best I'm seeing is anywhere between 3 and plus 330.
Yeah, I think for me, just again in seeing, a book here now in FanDuel down to plus 280.
Yeah.
This isn't going to get better. So,
no.
It's so interesting. You've already bet Scottie, but I'm curious, Brady, what's the stop point for people that hear your break? Because the analysis for you doesn't change.
It's hard to say what's the stop point, Kevin. I think this is a very unique situation we have here with Scottie Scheffler, because as an efficient bettor, in any way of life, you want to buy something for a good price. You don't want to pay a tax. You don't want to pay more than you should. When you're getting down below 3-1 on Scottie Scheffler, you're paying more than it's worth. I think 4-1 is a very fair number. I don't have a huge problem with plus 350, but you are getting into a point there where there's probably not a lot of value. You're paying more than it's worth at that point. However, like I said, this situation is very different. I told you off air, a friend of mine related this to like betting against Patrick Mahomes and getting burned. I have been relating it now for a couple of months to like betting on Floyd Mayweather. You don't lose. Mayweather never lost, and it feels like Scottie's that way too. I've hit him now in game 4 times in this run of 5 wins and 8 events. I've bet him in game 4 times, minus 250, minus 300, minus 400, and don't wait until he gets to the back 9 because then he's going to be minus 3,000. This is only the second time I bet him pre-tournament all year. The first time was at the Phoenix Open, and he got to about the last 9 holes and was the in-game betting favorite once again. And then Nick Taylor caught him. But I think this is just different here. This is a major championship at a golf course that is an absolutely perfect fit for him. I feel there's a little bit something left on the table remaining from the PGA Championship when he feels maybe he got cheated a little bit. And the other thing is, look at the guy. He is by far the best player in the world. And he is on a path. Actually, if he keeps going like this, he's on a path to catch Tiger Woods as far as number of major championships won. I was just speaking with a friend of mine who runs the Superbook out here in Las Vegas. And I said, what happens when Scottie wins this week? Is he going to be plus 250 for the British Open, 2-1? Yeah. He recalls a time when Tiger Woods was even money to win a couple of championships in the early 2000s. We could be headed that direction.
It's hard to say we're not. Because, again, the expectation, he's going to win this one. It's not going to stop, right?
No, I don't think so.
And next week's elevated, right?
Yeah.
So he's going to play.
He might almost be too exhausted at that point. I don't know. The man is Superman. He wasn't too exhausted from being arrested on the Friday morning. He came back out and shot 66. It finally caught up to him on Saturday when he shot 73. He wasn't too exhausted from becoming a new father. You just don't know when it's going to stop. You wonder if he would enter the Travelers. I know he didn't enter the Wells Fargo because I think that's right exactly when his child was being born. You wonder if he would skip the Travelers after winning the Memorial and the U.S. Open back-to-back.
Look, I will say you have a better read on it than me, but he went to the Masters, And because it was becoming obvious he was going to win it, we spent time wondering, was he going to leave for the birth of a child? That we ultimately wasn't really close. He won the Masters and ran it back the next week because it was an elevated event. Some guys just prefer to always be out there. I'll use Kevin Durant as an example. A lot of guys in Kevin Durant's group have skipped USA basketball to take the time off. KD just can't stop playing. KD tore the Achilles. You cannot keep Kevin Durant off a basketball court. It just seems like you cannot keep Scottie Scheffler off a golf course. And the thing is, Brady, but just because we're going to get into everybody else after this. Let's say Scottie wins. What do you think the number is next week then? It can't be higher than this, can it?
No. It, like I said, I mean, we're probably below 3. I mean, he's already below 3 at FanDuel, and I know some other shops as well. You know, what does he become for the British Open? Plus, 3-1 plus 250. I think that one's a little bit different from the U.S. Open, and there's more randomness possibly involved. But next week for the Travelers, I mean, we've already we started to make the comparisons to the Tiger-like run he's on a while ago. Now the prices are starting to be comparable. Pretty soon he might get to that all-time low point where Tiger was even money to win a major about 22 years ago.
Let's try and figure out if there's anyone else to bet or if we get tricky. Because Brady mentioned it the other day. Without Scheffler. And the numbers don't move maybe as much as you would expect. We'll break that down next right here on Game Time Decisions.
You got Porzingis, you got Holiday, you got Derek White. You got literally, I would say what? 5 guys can get you 20 points in a game?
I know people will say it's, only one guy. I don't believe that, Coach, that, one guy, those days are over, in my opinion. Like, a Bill Russell, a Wilt Chamberlain.
Betting above the rim. Only on SportsGrid.
8 playoff games at home for Boston in Beantown. They are 6-2 straight up.
The wild card, I would say, in this game is not necessarily, well, what are we going to get out of Luka Doncic, Kyrie Irving, Brown, and certainly Tatum. It is Kristaps Porzingis to me because we're not getting back a player that's like, hey, rotational guy. Like, remember when Derek Lively went down with the injury? He was playing well, but a young player, like a piece.
The early line. Only on SportsGrid.
Garrett Cole's getting ready to come back too. I guess this. Look, they've played great without him, but you're not going to say to Garrett Cole, "Look, don't come back." I mean, it's a ridiculous conversation to have.
They're not going to take any unnecessary chances. And look, they're at the point where they have a lead. They certainly are going to make the playoffs, I would say, barring some sort of complete collapse. And that's all it takes.
Newswire. Only on SportsGrid.
Panthers minus 2.5 games plus 330. Panthers 2+ goals in every game plus 225.
It's going to take a monumental effort for them not to get 2 goals in a game. It's going to take what Bobrovsky did last night. It's going to take Skinner to do in Edmonton. They're not going to do it in Florida.
Game Time Decisions. Only on SportsGrid.
All right, we're back with you right here on SportsGrid. Talk a little bit about the U.S. Open. So, Brady, tell me, because I know you're always looking at other spots, right? It's rarely a one-guy card, although Scottie could justify that this week. Who else are you looking to bet here at the U.S. Open?
Yeah, and most of these guys I bet a little while ago. Colin Morikawa has been incredibly impressive. It started with the Masters. He really has become the biggest threat to Scottie Scheffler. I got him a little while ago at 20. It was maybe last week I saw him at 18, and now he's as low as 16. He's become kind of a popular, and I hate to bet on popular guys, but in this case, I think people are trying to find people that can track down and beat Scotty Scheffler, and Colin Morikawa may be the best candidate. So I'm on Morikawa too. He's another guy that has a tremendous game for this golf course, especially with his improved short game over the last couple of months. I am also on Tommy Fleetwood. Kevin, I kind of nailed it down to three primary areas that I think are of utmost importance this week, and that's total driving. These fairways are pretty wide, but you still need to find the right spot in the fairways. So accuracy is a part of the equation. Total driving is a combination of length and accuracy. And oh, by the way, the golf course is long. Scotty Scheffler, one of the best total drivers in the game. Colin Morikawa, one of the most accurate drivers in the game, and he's also got pretty decent length. Tommy Fleetwood, another guy who has incredible total driving. I think he's like 10th on tour. Again, a combination of length and accuracy. So total driving, strokes gained approach, iron play, hit the greens in regulation, and then the magical short game. When you miss these greens, you've got to be incredibly creative around these shaved runoff areas. Guys will use everything from a three wood to a putter to get up and down this week. And all these guys check the boxes. Colin Morikawa, Scotty Scheffler, Tommy Fleetwood. I went with Ludwig Åberg, whose short game is magical. We know about his iron play. We know about his total driving. He's also played this course many times before. He was a part of the 312 players that teed it up here in the 2019 U.S. Amateur, and he made it all the way to the round of 32. So he's had success on this golf course before. So those, to me, Åberg, Fleetwood, and Morikawa were contenders. The other two guys I took a crack at were just some flyers who, if we get an oddball, if we get something, an anomaly here, these guys could be there. I think they're better bets for a top 20 finish, a top 30, a top 40, however you want to handle it. But that's Alex Noren and Billy Horschel, both at triple digits, pretty heavy triple digits. They both had outstanding campaigns in 2024. They check all the boxes that I've talked about: greens in regulation, total driving, and scrambling. Alex Noren is number one on the PGA Tour in scrambling. So they fit my criteria. They're in great form, just like all the guys that I went with this week, but just a six-pack. And again, I've got the top dog who I'm invested in at the most because I think he's going to win. The other guys are a little bit of an insurance policy, as I feel they are absolutely viable contenders. And then the last two guys are just a couple of long shots to see if we can catch lightning in a bottle.
Yeah, I think for me, because again, we've talked about that without Scotty Market. So I wanted to just kind of grab some of the first names you mentioned there. And it becomes apparent that the shorter the golfer, the more sense it makes to get involved in the without Scotty market. Colin Morikawa, just using FanDuel numbers, shop around always. You may have different numbers, Brady, but is 14-1 at the moment. The without Scotty market is 12. Now, you already have Scotty, right? So the market's also irrelevant to you specifically. For people that aren't betting Scotty but want to bet in the outright market and respect him. But a guy like Tommy Fleetwood, who's currently 40, goes down to 30. As much as Scheffler is scary, at that point, you bet Scheffler plus, let's call it 300, find your best number, and Fleetwood at 40. I don't think you take 1,000, right, off of your Tommy Fleetwood bet there, Brady, to play him without Scotty.
I think that's a good call. And, if Tommy Fleetwood's going to have something magical, it's probably going to be in the form of a win. He's yet to win on the PGA Tour. He's yet to win in the United States. Now, he's won all over the world, like Alex Noren, but he's still in search of that first victory on U.S. soil. And I kind of have a feeling if it's going to happen, it could also be his first major championship. Pinehurst is a very links-ish style golf course, and links golf is different from American golf. You see it in the British Open, where you play a lot on the ground and the rolling hills and the seaside and the wind. And, the Mother Nature has just shaped the way the golf course plays and the way it sits. American golf is much more man-made, and it's an aerial assault. You're attacking these greens from the air. The links golf is played, the style is on the ground. And Pinehurst incorporates a little bit of both. It's a little bit of a mixed bag between a U.S. Open and a British Open. And Tommy Fleetwood, by the way, his two most successful majors, where he's done the best, have been the British Open and the U.S. Open. So why not Fleetwood at a golf course that features a little bit of both styles?
Yeah, I mean, I love the look there. I'm excited. I want to ask you about someone before we let you get out of here, just because the number caught my eye. So frequently, I felt that Xander Schauffele and his counterpart was Patrick Cantlay. Prices couldn't be any more different this week. A 10-1 compared to a 65-1. What do you feel about Patrick Cantlay's game?
I don't want any part of it, man. I mean, even at a course where he's had a ton of success, last week, the Memorial, he didn't do well. He has flashed a couple of times at courses where he's played well historically. That didn't happen even last week. It's kind of gotten that bad for Patrick Cantlay. Xander, like I mentioned earlier, I think the odds are heavily against him that he'll go back-to-back major championships. But I did play a head-to-head matchup, a full tournament head-to-head matchup with Xander over Rory McIlroy. I think had Xander not won last week in Kentucky, I probably would have been on him heavy this week. I think the golf course is excellent for him. He's got a very similar skill set to Scottie Scheffler. I think Rory, this is not the perfect match for his skill set. And I'll take Xander as a short favorite over Rory in a head-to-head.
All right. So, again, a good reminder as well, while we do discuss the outright markets a lot, there's a billion other markets when it comes to golf betting that you can get involved with. Brady, appreciate it. And we'll certainly be checking in throughout this tournament.
Can't wait, man. Thank you.
All right. Awesome stuff. Up next, Paul Skeens Day.
You got Porzingis, you got Holiday, you got Derek White. You got literally, I would say what? 5 guys that can get you 20 points in a game?
I know people say it's, only one guy. I don't believe that, Coach, that, one guy, those days are over, in my opinion. Like, a Bill Russell, a Wilt Chamberlain.
Betting above the rim. Only on SportsGrid.
8 playoff games at home for Boston in Beantown. They are 6-2 straight up.
The wild card, I would say, in this game is not necessarily, well, what are we going to get out of Luka Doncic, Kyrie Irving, Brown, and certainly Tatum. It is Kristaps Porzingis to me, because we're not getting back a player that's like, hey, rotational guy. Like, remember when Derek Lively went down with the injury? He was playing well, but a young player, like a piece.
The early line. Only on SportsGrid.
Garrett Cole is getting ready to come back too. I guess look, they've played great without him, but you're not going to say to Garrett Cole, look, don't come back. I mean, it's a ridiculous conversation to have.
They're not going to take any unnecessary chances. And look, they're at the point where they have a lead. They certainly are going to make the playoffs, I would say, barring some sort of complete collapse. And that's all it takes.
Newswire. Only on SportsGrid.
Panthers minus 2.5 games, plus 330. Panthers 2+ goals in every game, plus 225.
It's going to take a monumental effort for them not to get 2 goals in a game. It's going to take what Bobrovsky did last night. It's going to take Skinner to do in Edmonton. They're not going to do it in Florida.
Game time decisions. Only on SportsGrid.
We're live right here on SportsGrid Game Time Decisions. It is Paul Skeens Day, and that is, it's not really a bit. I take no responsibility for coming up with that. If anything, it's the group behind the scenes, and I feel like it's just kind of a thing. Because Paul Skeens pitching is not just, man, this is excited, everybody pull up a seat and let's watch Paul Skeens. It means the sports books give more options on Paul Skeens props than any other player, period, in Major League Baseball. So if you look at some of the options that are out there right now, these are all strikeout related up here. The number tonight is 7.5, 2 straight starts over that number, 3 out of 4, 3 and 2 on that number throughout this year. He's had at least 7 in 4 out of 5 with the one outlier start where he had 3 strikeouts. His career high is currently 11, plus 560. You want him to get to double digits, that's plus 330. If you want him to get to 15, you're crazy. What are you doing? Take it easy. All right? Just ease it up. Plus, if you want him to get to 15, I give you 200 to 1 on something different. We'll get there. Now, let's get to the next set of Paul Skeens specials. And by the way, the NL Cy Young favorite is pitching right now. None of these are up there. None of them. No hitter through 5, 35 to 1. Again, boys in the back are involved. I respect it. If you want to try and go lower, 3 up, 3 down, 6 up, 6 down, 9 up. That's 10 to 1. Is that sweet spot 6 up, 6 down, plus 470? I don't hate it. I don't hate it at all. But here's what caught my attention through all of this here. To record 21 plus outs at plus 300, that's 7 innings of work for Paul Skeens. Now, if the Kevin Walsh, before we saw Skeens, was breaking this down, he would have laughed at that number. And I think many of you would have as well. The idea around Paul Skeens is that they would be very careful with him. Very, very careful heading into his upbringing to the major leagues and pitching for the Pittsburgh Pirates. I'm not saying they haven't been careful with Paul Skeens. They've just let him be a normal pitcher. Paul Skeens has thrown at least 93 pitches in every single start since his debut. That means that Paul Skeens, and he has a 100-pitch start already, by the way. He's only had 5 starts. That means that Skeens has the ability, has the breathing room to give you the pitch count that you would say you need if you're going to get somebody to go 7. Is there a world that Paul Skeens is having a great game sitting on 81 pitches through 6 innings and they take him out? Yes. I also think they probably send him back out there. Now, due to Skeens' nature as a strikeout pitcher, that might be part of the reason why the pitch count goes up and the innings have not gone beyond 6. But again, the amount of pitches, volume, we talk about it all the time, for Paul Skeens is there. At plus 300, that is the number that is catching my attention. Now, this next number, I have no thoughts on. I have no pick on, but it hammers home one more point. Now, here is the velocity of his first pitch. I will say anybody who bets this, I respect it. I mean, this is in the mix. This is the most in the mix you can get. You're being graded on the very first pitch of Paul Skeens' start. Now, they are on the road, so he doesn't pitch until the bottom of the first, but that's absolutely brilliant. But I wanted this up here to make this point. We have a sports book in FanDuel hanging the velocity of Paul Skeens' first pitch. And that same sports book is willingly giving you this pitcher at 200 to 1 to win NL Cy Young. It is the most incomprehensible price I have ever seen in my life. It is 60 to 1 on DraftKings. I am not telling you he is winning Cy Young. I am telling you that somebody tacked a 0 on the back end of this and hasn't woken up yet. They wake up today on Skeens Day. Consig is up next.
got Porzingis, you got Holiday, you got Derek White. You got literally, I would say what? 5 guys can get you 20 points in a game?
I know people will say it's, only one guy. I don't believe that, Coach, that, one guy, those days are over, in my opinion. Like, a Bill Russell, a Wilt Chamberlain.
Betting above the rim. Only on SportsGrid.
8 playoff games at home for Boston in Beantown. They are 6-2 straight up.
The wild card, I would say, in this game is not necessarily, well, what are we going to get out of Luka Doncic, Kyrie Irving, Brown, and certainly Tatum. It is Kristaps Porzingis to me, because we're not getting back a player that's like, hey, rotational guy. Like, remember when Derek Lively went down with an injury? He was playing well, but a young player, like a piece.
The early line. Only on SportsGrid.
Garrett Cole is getting ready to come back too. I guess look, they've played great without him, but you're not going to say to Garrett Cole, look, don't come back. I mean, it's a ridiculous conversation to have.
They're not going to take any unnecessary chances. And look, they're at the point where they have a lead. They certainly are going to make the playoffs, I would say, barring some sort of complete collapse. And that's all it takes.
Newswire. Only on SportsGrid.
Panthers minus 2.5 games, plus 330. Panthers 2+ goals in every game, plus 225.
It's going to take a monumental effort for them not to get 2 goals in a game. It's going to take what Bobrovsky did last night. It's going to take Skinner to do in Edmonton. They're not going to do it in Florida.
Game time decisions. Only on SportsGrid.
Oh, we're in the mix, folks. Get him up here. Consig joins the show. Pirates regalia. Look at him.
Yeah.
Skeens Day celebrations. If Dave was in the room, the Skeens might be pick for the Cy Young. What's the word, Dave?
It's happening. Listen, you talked about it. We just got to stay in the rotation. I've heard this rumblings of, if they're not in it, they're going to shut them down come August. I said, what? They're going to be in it. Stop the nonsense. But he's rolling. It's hump day. It's Skeens Day, and we wear black and gold we're back, baby. The Pirates, it's nighttime in Pittsburgh behind me. I told everybody, don't let them get good again.
Right.
Do not do it.
Right.
You think you're the most unbiased man in sports media history. Don't let my Pirates get back, baby, because it's over if they do.
I tell you, man, sometimes I wonder if you really understand what I'm saying there, because I'm not sure I'm understanding what you're saying there. You get excited about your Pirates, that's all good. Just know that your friend, as the most unbiased man in the history of sports media, will give people the accurate Pirates analysis that which they need, and you can be a fan about it if that's what you need to do. Don't worry about it.
That's fine. Good.
Let's talk Skeens.
Yes.
All right? Let's play a game. Let's play a game.
Yes, let's do this.
Again, he's 200-1 on FanDuel.
They're not going to move it, no matter how many times you say it, Kevin. They're not going to move it.
By the way, that's not true. I'm going to keep saying it until the people wake up. Dave, not Dave. I'm gonna go through the guys that are underneath 20-1, and safely assume you'd rather bet any of these guys. But if I'm wrong, you let me know. Wheeler, Glasnow, Ranger Suarez, Logan Webb, Max Fried, Aaron Nola, Chris Sale, Shota Imanaga. All are under 20-1. If I offered you them or Skeens, who would you rather? Forget the price.
Almost every one of them, I would rather them than Skeens.
I agree. I don't love Nola, to be honest with you. Like, I actually don't think Nola's...
It's actually alarming. We only talk for a few minutes each day, but it's actually alarming how sometimes we're thinking the same thing, because I said I would not use Nola on that list in my head because he's not going to win it over Suarez or over Wheeler.
No, he's third on the team. It's not happening. So Nola might be out. So, all right. Here's under 50-1. Yamamoto, Cease, Sonny Gray, Ronaldo Lopez, Freddie Peralta, Zach Gallen. That's under 50.
Oh, there's some guys.
I'd rather Yamamoto.
I'd rather, there's a couple guys.
I'd rather, I'll go Yamamoto. We'll go one by one then. Yamamoto or Skeens?
That's fine.
Yamamoto.
Yeah.
Cease or Skeens? I think I'd take Cease.
Numbers are really
enough
good.
of a head start.
Right. Yeah, that's a pick.
Sonny Gray?
Nah.
Yeah, he started late. I'd probably, Ronaldo Lopez, cut it out. I don't care what those numbers are. That's not happening.
No.
Freddie Peralta?
Who?
Listen.
Come on.
Whoa.
Come on.
Zach. Now we'll trade Zach Gallen or Skeens. Listen, I'm out on the Gallen as well. The home road splits have been ugly for quite some time. I'd probably take Peralta. But here's the deal.
That K number is going to be sexy. They're going to ring up. That K number is going to be alarmingly a lot more than a lot of those people on that list.
Now, this is the last stop here. The 100 to 1 or less crowd.
Okay.
Hunter Green or Paul Skeens. Come on, cut it out. Cut it out. All right, listen, Hunter Green's going to have to start playing shortstop again. He wants to win Cy Young. Mackenzie Gore or Paul Skeens? Ridiculous.
I don't even know who this is in our ear. I don't even know where that came from, but it ain't no Mackenzie Gore. That's it.
Mitchell Parker, Drew Hurts. Listen, don't worry about it, all right? Tony Parker. Listen, Skeens and 4.
Peter Parker.
Move it along.
Peter Parker. No chance.
Ready? Oh, here's a great one.
Let's go.
Mitch Keller, Paul Skeens. Come on. Don't do that.
That's big, bro. Don't put me in that spot. That's like picking my favorite kid. Don't make me do it.
Right.
Don't make me, please.
Right.
But I like the younger one.
But don't worry, I'll do it for you.
Saying.
I'll do it. I'll do it for you, old man.
Uncle
Hit
Kevin.
the bricks, all right?
Hey, Uncle Kevin.
Hey, listen. Dad's out. All right, I'm in charge. Okay, Paul gets the remote. We're watching his show, Mitch. All right, you can go over there and play with the Legos in a corner. We're watching what Paul wants. Blues Clues. We're running it back. All right, I don't care if you saw the episode yesterday. Jordan Hicks at 80. You want Jordan Hicks?
No.
Come on now. Isn't this guy closing? Cut it out with this Jordan Hicks. And then Luis Severino's 100.
Wow. Really? Who bet on him to get him to 100? They should flip-flop the price.
JY, when he helped him out that Sunday Night Baseball. Now listen.
Did.
But by the way, those guys are all half or comfortably less than Paul Skeens. Wow. The number's ridiculous, folks. The number's ridiculous.
You know what we should do? We should get the boys, everybody together. Let's just send a little homing device. Send a C note on Skeens at 200 to 1.
Listen.
That's 20 dimes. They might move it. If they don't, maybe we could send another one the next day. Just put it out there and go, hey, just let you know we're going to be here. We're going to be in the mix all summer. That might do it. 100 to win 20K might get them to move it.
You're not getting rid of us.
Yeah.
Sometimes you see some of these numbers, you go, I'm not sure I'm against getting in the room. I'm booking Aaron Nola numbers. You know what? That's an easy summer. Can I give you something crazy, though? Because I've talked book-to-book disparity here. Yeah. Imanaga's 15 on FanDuel. He's plus 300 on DraftKings. A lot of respect for Imanaga over on the King. A lot of Imanaga respect.
Somebody dropped the bag. That's absurdly
sure did.
Different. That somebody dropped the bag on him. Wow.
You don't get gaps like that on top guys.
Kids, I gotta do the numbers for Kevin tonight. Don't bother me. I'm just letting him know. I gotta do
that's not.
Numbers. Oh boy,
that's not adding up. 1 + 1 is not getting us to 7 right there.
No,
that's interesting.
No.
You see Judge first minus of the year, AL MVP.
You've been beating the drum. Look, they cut a promo. It runs every day. I see it. Me and you talking about it. You said it 2 weeks ago. We said, come on in, bet it. People keep betting it. He ain't going nowhere. I mean, what's he going to do tonight? Had to the case.
Well, Dinger Tuesday. Oh, MLB
You
playing
gone?
today. No, I don't have Judge. I got Soto. Playing today. You're gonna love it.
Yeah.
You're gonna love it.
Oh, next
Ezekiel
segment.
Tovar. No, because it's about to go off. It's about to go off the board. Ezekiel Tovar over the 1.5 hits, runs, RBIs. Look for the first inning cash, people. Look at it. Oh, look at him go. Look at him go. Ezekiel Tovar, family friend. I mean, this guy, top 10 in WAR in the National League.
Well, you went deep. That's a deep cut. Colorado, Minnesota. There's not another content provider doing that. That's a K-Dub only. You can't. Nobody can accuse you of getting that from anywhere else. That is an all Kevin Walsh play. Come on, who got that? Tovar. What? Zeke today for the what? It's like the PRA hits RBI and what? What does he got to get?
Look, we also took him plus 630, Little Dinger Tuesday. Can he get it? Can he get us going early?
First inning,
Can we get him going early?
Oh.
Can we get him going early?
Oh,
I mean, it's now or never. It's now or never. Hey, can someone wake up this Eflin? No strikeouts here, this Eflin. I got a couple of questions for this guy. What's he doing? I have an MLB octopus. Did you know that? It's out in the street.
Today?
It's 19. It's 19-1. I didn't come short. Look at him. Look at him. Stars are up there. Look at him. We'll be right back. It's a big show, folks. It's a big show. Come on now. We step.
You got Porzingis, you got Holiday, you got Derek White, you got literally, I would say what, 5 guys that can get you 20 points in a game?
I know people say it's, only one guy. I don't believe that, Coach. That, one guy, those days are over, in my opinion. Like, a Bill Russell, a Wilt Chamberlain.
Betting above the rim. Only on SportsGrid.
8 playoff games at home for Boston in Beantown. They are 6-2 straight up.
The wild card, I would say, in this game is not necessarily, well, what are we going to get out of Luka Doncic, Kyrie Irving, Brown, and certainly Tatum. It is Kristaps Porzingis to me, because we're not getting back a player that's like, hey, rotational guy. Like, remember when Derek Lively went down with an injury? He was playing well, but a young player, like a piece.
The early line. Only on SportsGrid.
Garrett Cole's getting ready to come back too. I guess look, they've played great without him, but you're not going to say to Garrett Cole, look, don't come back. I mean, it's a ridiculous conversation to have.
They're not going to take any unnecessary chances. And look, they're at the point where they have a lead. They certainly are going to make the playoffs, I would say, barring some sort of complete collapse. And that's all it takes.
Newswire. Only on SportsGrid.
Panthers minus 2.5 games, plus 330. Panthers 2+ goals in every game, plus 225.
It's going to take a monumental effort for them not to get 2 goals in a game. It's going to take what Bobrovsky did last night. It's going to take Skinner to do in Edmonton. They're not going to do it in Florida.
Game time decisions. Only on SportsGrid.
Ezekiel Tovar gave it a drive. Listen, he let him know. Don't make that mistake again. That's all right. It's early. It's early. Zach Eflin giving us nothing. I want to let people know on the MLB Octopus that's been posted up there, a mistake of no one other than my own. I told them Marte for a hit. Now you'll see Starling Marte up there. Now, I bet Ketel Marte. I foolishly forgot that we might have some other Martes in the league. Guess what? Marte got a hit. So, I'll tell you this right now. We go 7-1. Ketel Marte no hit. Starling Marte yes hit. I'm not here tomorrow. I'll tell you that. I'm not here tomorrow. I'm already not here tomorrow. Look at that, playing the game. Consig, where do we go? What are you thinking baseball board-wise? I mean, we've talked plenty of Skeens, but what else are you thinking?
Yeah. Phillies, Wheeler. That was a painfully obvious choice. Cleveland, a little worrisome with McKenzie, but how many times you get them plus money? I thought that was a little bit much. As we look later, I mean, it was Yankees again. That was painfully obvious to me. But the story of baseball is this White Sox team. Right? I mean, yesterday we came all decked out, the White Sox. We're up 4-0. As they get into the extras, 4-4. A walk-off, what, Ransom? They win by 4. The game goes way over. You can't even make
run
it up.
line.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's the woo. You got to. It's all about the woo tonight. Again, I
heard he was scratched from a source.
Oh, hold on.
Can we confirm it?
Scratched. Diaz.
Good
I
source.
Just hit refresh. Okay.
Good source. Great source.
Plus 1.5.
Great source here.
Again with this White Sox. They get aggravated again. We'll go with the White Sox. Plus 1.5. Yeah.
All
book
right.
guy play. Yeah, that's what we'll do.
All right. Hey, let me ask you this, book guy. Do they need Scotty Scheffler or anybody other than Scotty Scheffler with this U.S. Open?
This is so much fun for me to not be in the risk room and try to book this golf because the Tiger Woods owes everybody for years for what he did to people in the rooms, in the books, because they bet him blindly. It didn't matter what price you made him. They laid it. They laid him in the matchups. They laid him in. Somebody's got to beat this guy. You can't start it at what you're starting it at. It's going to be fine. But now, instead of a win, there were weeks where you actually lost booking the golf back in the day when Tiger was rolling. Not because he won, because they didn't bet anybody else. How many times do you have to have Hadwin at 200 to 1? At some point you go, well, he ain't beating him, and you stop betting him. Xander Schauffele, he finally won. You're going to bet him to beat Scheffler? No. So the handle, it goes up, but it gets all more on one guy. So is somebody going to beat him? You tell me. I don't want to pick the week to beat him. That course looks hard as hell. The little video that I saw, the number's going to be low. I think this might be a week where, yes, you would go against them, but I don't know who even to begin to pick.
Yeah, Brady Cannon's all over Scotty this week. He's been on him for a month. So, it's incredible. He's been he bet him. He said guys got him at 5. He has him at plus 450.
Right.
The idea that he bet a golfer at plus 450 and might beat it by $2 is nuts. But that's where we are. It's down to plus 280 here on FanDuel. So
I turned on the golf on Sunday, and I was home with my 10-year-old, just me and her. Baseball was going, and I turned on the golf, and she said, "What are you doing? Why are you watching golf?" I said, just try to pay attention to see who wins this thing. And, I had him tied to the Celtics money line. I had him tied to the Mavericks plus 7 in game 2. It was a little Sunday fun day. We just started messing around, and she's like, "Wow, are we going to watch golf a lot again?" And I'm like, "I don't know, Kendall, but this guy's the best golfer in the world, and we should pay attention." So I was in the mix. I said, when you get him on Sunday minus 150, and there's 2 guys that are chasing him, and it's Morikawa and Hadwin, it was easy.
Yeah, listen, the in-game golf betting has been it's been working out, I think, for a lot of people.
That's great. Yeah.
And I think part of it's because the starting point is so high. The other night I took a Derek Lively in-game bet. It ultimately didn't get there. That's not the point, but it was minus 110, right? And it's always going to be minus. In fact, minus 110 is a pretty good number for an in-game basketball bet.
True.
Right?
True.
Scotty Scheffler on a Sunday minus 110 means we've played 7 and he's up 1. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Right. It was at the turn. It was minus 150 at the turn. And I said,
And he's
we'll
up.
turn it on. We'll watch the last 9 holes. And he was never really threatened. He made putts when he had to. The guy's unflappable. That's the crazy part, K-Dub. He don't make the mistake, and when he does, he bounces right back. Somebody's got to go get him. We have to find the guy who's going to go low to go beat him. And I don't see it right now.
Yeah, listen, I think it's a great point. The only thing I would say is if you're not a every tournament golf bettor, at this point, you don't need Scotty 280.
No.
What's the shortest number on Saturday? Let's be honest. +1 even? +110?
Yeah, I was going to say even money, but I thought maybe +130, something like that. I mean, it's
like trying to be realistic.
Yeah.
So, listen, I'm not telling you that. Let's call it even. Obviously, +280 is a bigger payout than even. But also, you have 2 days of letting the whole thing play out in front of you. So,
I love Sunday morning. I come and talk to you Sunday mornings before the golf really kicks off, and I look at it every week now because I'm up and I got one round. I mean, I don't have to worry about the cut. I don't have to worry. I can see how they're playing. I love the Sunday morning in-game golf betting. I love it.
yeah, it's been excellent. Look, I got one more question for the consig before we let him get out of here. He'll be on In-Game Live tonight following Skeens Day, no doubt. We'll be right back.
You got Porzingis, you got Holiday, you got Derek White, you got literally, I would say what, 5 guys that can get you 20 points in a game?
I know people say it's only one guy. I don't believe that, Coach. That one guy. Those days are over, in my opinion. Like a Bill Russell, a Wilt Chamberlain.
Betting above the rim, only on SportsGrid.
8 playoff games at home for Boston in Beantown. They are 6-2 straight up.
The wild card, I would say, in this game is not necessarily, well, what are we going to get out of Luka Doncic, Kyrie Irving, Brown, and certainly Tatum. It is Kristaps Porzingis to me because we're not getting back a player that's like, hey, rotational guy. Like, remember when Derek Lively went down with an injury? He was playing well, but a young player, like a piece.
The early line, only on SportsGrid.
Garrett Cole's getting ready to come back too. I guess look, they've played great without him, but you're not going to say to Garrett Cole, look, don't come back. I mean, it's a ridiculous conversation to have.
They're not going to take any unnecessary chances. And look, they're at the point where they have a lead. They certainly are going to make the playoffs, I would say, barring some sort of complete collapse. And that's all it takes.
Newswire, only on SportsGrid.
Panthers -2.5 games, +330. Panthers 2+ goals in every game, +225.
It's going to take a monumental effort for them not to get 2 goals in a game. It's going to take what Bobrovsky did last night. It's going to take Skinner to do in Edmonton. They're not going to do it in Florida.
Game time decisions, only on SportsGrid.
All right, back to right here on SportsGrid. Skeens lands 100.2 miles an hour on the first, which is a +210 payout. Dave, guys in the room happy about that? I can't even imagine. Like,
they're happy it's over.
What could the handle
throw
have
the
been?
pitch already. Let's go. Get it done. I mean, I don't know. +210, +250, +300 through tenths of a mile per hour. Congratulations. Move on. Bet the first 5 now. That's what anything that goes into that, just get that back in the mix.
The only thing I'll just tell people is the combined probability of those odds is 115.7.
Ooh.
Honestly, it's probably not much worse than anything else we bet. So I'll just,
That's true.
it's fine.
Yeah.
It's fine. Help me out here, Dave. The hockey last night. Under again. Man, I can't believe Edmonton scored in the first and didn't get another. That
Right.
was a little surprising to me.
Yep.
It's back to Edmonton.
Yep.
Where are you at right now? Just early series, game. What are you currently thinking about?
The end of the game shenanigans. We got to see the health of those guys. I don't know what the status is. There's a little bit of buzz that they might have a disciplinary hearing and maybe suspend the guy or something. But I like the fact that Edmonton did it. Basically sending a message like, get your passports. It's an 8-hour flight. We'll be there. We're waiting for you. We'll see you Thursday night. So I don't think, it was 1-0 for a while. And then it was two really nice goals that weren't really Skinner's fault. Either one. So it was another 2-1 game essentially with the empty netters. I like Edmonton right now in game 3. I think Edmonton finds a way to win a game. I think it gets a little ugly. And the last series we had talked about, the games in Dallas looked a lot different than the games at Edmonton.
Right.
I said many times on clips here and other shows that I think every game in this series going under except this one. This one might be the one that has the juice. I'll know more by Thursday when we get together.
All right. Yeah, I'm kind of in a spot where I think, listen, if they hold Florida to 1, they'll be lucky. I think 2 is the best case scenario for Edmonton.
Mm-hmm.
However, their offense has been incredible at bouncing back.
Yep.
However, to that, first 3 rounds, 3 combined games of 1 goal or less. They've scored 1 goal in 2 games against Florida now. So that's what it comes down to. At the end of the day.
Might be a matchup problem. It might be. I need to ask you a question on the way out. Forget about the hockey.
All right.
That big guy in Boston's dinged up. Are we back, Kevin? Are we back?
Listen,
Dallas? Are we back?
Somebody, as somebody who played Boston in 6 or 7 just the other day, we have a better shot now. Mm-hmm. I think my bigger takeaway is the books that were hanging Mavs as a favorite, which is still not a good number. They were like, he's missing the game. And because they didn't go to 4, right?
No.
I think they're missing the game. I'll just say this, and I'll let you get out of here. Your guy, I saw a tweet, which basically said doesn't change a thing.
He won't stop.
Now,
you got to get him on here.
But I'm not.
You got to talk to him. He won't stop. It's out of control.
He had skating practice or something the other day. Listen, we got to respect it.
Yeah, he did.
We got to. No. He tells straight from the school of the consig. There's no lies to be told. We respected it.
Yeah.
We respected it.
Gotta have
but we'll talk to him ideally Saturday. If we can make it work. But here's the thing: if we're talking to him in the series is 3-0, then what are we even talking about? Consig, a pleasure.
See you, boys.
All right, he's going to be up next on In Game Live. I believe he's in the mix there with Scott Wetzel, folks. Do not miss that. As far as the Major League Baseball board goes, it is Dinger Tuesday. Soto, Ohtani, Tatis, star power. Hey, by the way, put your eyes on, this is from Donnie Wright's side. I can co-sign it if it matters to you. The Angels tonight, Zach Neto, Rafingo, whatever his buddy name is. Come on now, work with me here, people. All right? Angels, yeah, that's what I said now. Come on. They told me in the back I couldn't even give it to you. Look, the Angels are in the mix tonight. Now, before we get out of here, Paul Skeens, 3 up, 3 down, strikes out 2. 201? No way. No way. I'll see you Thursday.